There are many different categories in Targa Tasmania, and one relatively new class allows for manufacturers to try out new models and prototypes in a very extreme environment. I'm talking, of course, about the showroom category.
This is the Lancer Evolution 10. It's the latest offering by Mitsubishi to the Evo family. Heavier than the Evo 9, with no extra power and with one less ratio in its manual gearbox. You'd wonder what Mitsubishi was thinking. But the Evo 10 is faster, sharper and more explosive to drive than ever before. Thanks to a 5% increase in torque, the Lancer hits 100 k's an hour in just over 5 seconds. Add to this a host of other goodies, stiffer springs, a larger wheelbase and electronic stability control, and you've got yourself a bullet that can turn corners.
Well, look, as much as it's a bigger car, it's got a lot more power and in a rev range that's very usable in Targa. So we're expecting a lot of mid-corner speed and getting on the gas a bit quicker on the exits. It's a little bit down on power to our car last year, but I think that overall the package is much better.
Well, it's finally here. This is day one of Targa Tasmania 2009. We're here at the Launceston Country Club for the official start. The cars are flagged away and they head straight out to Lilydale, and that's where the action really begins.
Leg 1 commences with 9 Targa stages and a total competitive distance of 68 kilometres. Section 1 is centred around the Tamar Valley, with 4 stages to whet the appetite for competitors before Section 2, where things start to hot up. The Mersey, and Sheffield stages are the longest and the most challenging. Teams who are prepared and focused will begin to lay down their claims for the trophy.
Targa Tasmania 2009 has officially started!
Day 1 of Targa, and teams get the chance to stretch their legs. The Tamar Valley, an area famous for its cool climate wines. Today, Pinot and Riesling make way for horsepower and adrenaline. Morning stages are designed for front runners to drop little or no time. In the modern competition, the main contenders, Close, Richards, White and Quinn, all clearing the first 4 stages. Howell is the first competitive stage, and White drops 7 seconds. Richards and Quinn clean the base time. It's a different story on the Mersey stage, with White the fastest. Staking their claim for contention were Stephen Jones and Ruari Sauter-Dawson, driving a 2007 GTR. They were only 2 seconds slower than White over the twisting 9.9 kilometre stage. The big stage of the day is Sheffield, a fast race through northwest dairy country and then down into the dense Tasmanian forest. This was where Tony Quinn would make his mark, dropping only 6 seconds, 4 seconds faster than second place Jason White.
Our plan is just to stick with them until the rain comes, and then we'll pounce like a rabid beast.
We were spot on probably half the stages, but we lost our satellites on the last money stage, which was Sheffield. So I think we were sort of very, very close to the lead, and I reckon we would have dropped probably anywhere up to 10 seconds. So she's not the sort of road you want to go driving blind on.
In the showroom competition, Greg Johnston and Mike Stoneman finished day 1 with a full 1-minute lead over second-placed Tony Warren and Natasha Denise, both in Evo 9s. Running 5th overall in showroom, Rod Salmon in the Evo 10 with Samantha Stevens co-driving struggled on Quamby Brook.
Hell.
The classic competition is a crowd favourite in Targa Tasmania. There are always plenty of thrills and spills, as well as a close battle to the finish line. In the rookie category of the classics, Chris McPeak and Chris Bunting were pushing a little hard going into a right-hander. In Classic Outright, the field handicapped Ben Worcester and Tim Kulahanek in the 1990 Skyline blitzed the field in day 1. They were the fastest on all afternoon stages. Bill Pye and Grant Geelan have been chasing hard, matching Worcester's time on Sheffield. They were in 23 seconds adrift at the conclusion of day 1 stages. A fleet of cars are chasing hard and positioned well to make their charge on day 2.
Little Crest, 10 right.
Leg 2 features some absolutely fantastic tarmac rallying roads. It's what brings competitors back year after year. The field heads through the exhilarating 14-kilometre sidling stage and then over the mountainous terrain of Tasmania's northeast. It then continues down to the fishing village of St Helens on the east coast. The second section of the day is one of contrasting backdrops, with an old-fashioned hill climb through the old mining town of Rossarden, which is 12 kilometres long, and then the day concludes with a highlight for spectators, the Longford Street stage.
In Tasmania, the seasons are changing. Autumn is turning to winter. While the ground freezes, the pace hots up. The sidling stage is one of Targa's gems. 14 k's of twisting left and rights before a downward descent to the northeastern town of Scottsdale. It was Rex Broadbent who began to push his way to the top of the leaderboard of the Classics. After coming down with the flu at the start of the event, Broadbent in the 74 Porsche was starting to come good. Ben Worcester's lead was being chased down. Broadbent leapt to 3rd place after the sidling and continued to lay down the fastest time on each stage after that. Bill Pye was also consistent.
7 right and 2 left.
Worcester continued to push hard. His gearbox perhaps a little worse for wear. On the Pyengana stage, Mark Clare and Stuart Greaves had a colourful yet brief romance with a chicane. Worcester, Pye and Broadbent all recorded equal fastest times over Rossarden. The traditional finish of day 2 is a crowd favourite around the historic town of Longford. Tony Quinn was ready for day 2. After day 1, a quality modern field was out to chase him down. 9 seconds separated 4 cars. Jim Richards and a pair of Lamborghinis were ready to pounce. Starting the day in 2nd place, Jason and John White's GPS pace note system had to be abandoned. They were out of their comfort zone and off the pace. Day 2 belonged to Kevin Weeks, producing the fastest times stage after stage.
9 right on crest, 110.
Kevin Weeks and co-driver Rebecca Crunkhorn had drawn level with Quinn atop the leaderboard by the end of the day's 5th stage.
Yeah, the car's really good. We've just got a little bit of a transmission noise that the boys will fix tonight, hopefully.
Rossarden is at the heart of Tasmania's mining past. In the shadow of the northern mountain peaks, it was once one of the biggest tin-producing towns in Australia. As a rally stage, Rossarden is open and fast before it begins to twist, the road dropping hundreds of metres below. This was the last stage that would accumulate time penalties, and again Weeks had his Lamborghini at full noise. Only 2 cars would actually clean Rossarden, Weeks and Stephen Jones in his 07 GTR. Jim Richards and Barry Oliver were not going away either. They maintained their ever-consistent form in the drive and are well positioned for day 3. Clark Quinn, heading to the end of Rossarden, almost pushing a little too hard. The showroom section of the event for stock standard cars was coming down to a battle between the Evo 9s and the Mazda 3 MPS. Veteran driver Rick Bates was positioned strongly in 3rd place, behind Mazda teammates Brendan Reeves and Rhiannon Smythe in their Mazda 3. 20-year-old Brendan has already made his mark in rallying and proving to be very consistent. In his hometown, driver Greg Johnston maintained his lead through the day, despite losing time when he ripped the exhaust from his car.
So with 2 days and 18 stages down, let's take a look at the Delta Hydraulics leaderboard. In the showroom section, Mitsubishi and Mazda fill the top 5 places. Tasmanians Greg Johnson and Mike Stoneman hold a handy 1 minute 13 second lead in their Evo 9 over Brendan Reeves and Rhiannon Smythe's Mazda 3. Rick Bates in the other Mazda 3 MPS is a further 25 seconds back. Holding the lead in the Shannon's Outright Classic section is Ben Worcester and Tim Kalanick in their Skyline, a narrow lead of only 17 seconds to Rex Broadbent and Michael Godhere, who make up a heap of time in their 74 Porsche Carrera. Long-time competitors Bill Pye and Grant Gillen are a further 15 seconds back. In the Pure Tasmania Modern section, Tony Quinn has done enough to hold on to his lead. Kevin Weeks had a sensational run on day 2, jumping into second place. And veterans Jim Richards and Barry Oliver remain ever poised, only 1 second further behind.
After the break, we'll see what's in store for us in day 3 of Targa Tasmania 2009.